Go anywhere, we couldn't do anything. Now it's of course a commercial tour that Liverpool have to take part in, love to take part in, because this part of the world gave them a great welcome, as they always did when they came to the airport. What was it, 30 odd hours ago?
Well, firstly, you're right. I mean, coming this side of the world, you know, some people raise their eyebrows at it, but it serves different revenues of the football club, which is vitally important, from commercial to partners. You know, they get the chance to see the players and also get appearances. We come over and help with that as well. But also the fans who aren't as fortunate as what we are and seeing the games Saturday week in, week out. We're so privileged, aren't we? These fans, you know, it's a lot of money to get to England, so it's important that we go to them and we show the club about the new signings. Mo Salah's come, what a reception he got. It's very, very important that they come to see the club, and you know, we give a little bit back, because without them, football's nothing, is it? And this football club is so unique with our set of fans. It's important we do come here, and it's great to be back, as you've said, because we missed it through the COVID times.
They look like they've missed each other as well. I know you spend so much time together as footballers. What is it, 10 months, 63 games as they played last year, but they are a very close unit of players, and I think you can kind of sympathise with that as well. You were all very good mates, weren't you, behind the scenes as Liverpool players?
Obviously, the dressing room is one of the things that you miss the most. That's the reality. And even when you are on holidays, sometimes you don't miss the Preseason. Don't get me wrong, the Preseason is hard, but you miss definitely be with your teammates, jokes around. You could see, obviously, when they're warming up, joking to each other. You know, obviously, when it's the serious moment and playing and this, you obviously don't talk it to each other and you focus in what you have to do. But you miss the dressing room is probably what you miss the most when you retire, you know, and obviously see them there warming up, laughing at each other. That's the beautiful, you know, in the dressing room.
There's not much of a break now. The seasons are rolling into each other because of the nature of international football, the silly Nations League, which I still don't get. You know, just prolongs it even more and makes them play more and more games. But it is important that they get, I don't know, what is it, 2.5, maybe 3 weeks maximum, they get away from each other for the mental break rather than the physical break. I mean, these boys now, I mean, they're like racehorses, aren't they? That they don't come back unfit, they just come back maybe not as sharp, but it's that mental break from each other. You do get sick of each other, you do. 63 games, as you said, it's a long season, there wasn't many days off, there was a lot of travelling. You know, it can become repetitive, and it can grind you down mentally. So it is important. You do miss each other. You know when you're ready to come back, and they've come back with all smiles on their faces, and they are very, very close. But you do need that break.
And it's true as well that what these guys have as a holidays now is nothing really. You know, it's 2.5 weeks. Yeah. Obviously, a normal person, in a normal you get your month. I remember when I was playing, at least you get your month. Now, like he said, they put more international stuff. Now the World Cup in the middle, and if the AFCON, whoever is involved in the AFCON, then it's always something going on. And obviously, for us now to watch it from outside is beautiful, because you always have something to watch, you know, and your team to play. But for the players, obviously, it's just risking more and more injuries, and they really don't. They don't have. I don't think they have time to think really on anything, because it's game by game, maybe 3 days. You know, these guys. So it's incredible what they do. Like he said, they look at Mo Salah, for example, how he's come back. Probably he's come back as fit as he left. You know, it's 2 weeks ago. You know, so it's just incredible.
I'll tell you what, an indication of where the game's moved on as well. I mean, the medical team here, because we're privileged to flying with the team, and we're seeing how many staff are here, is enormous. You know, the physios, the medical teams, the scientists. You know, that just goes to show, you know, you ask yourself why. It's because they need to keep them fit, they need to keep them healthy, because there's just so much football. They've got to be on top of it now, analysing, you know, checking them out, getting the stats. Are they in that red zone? You know, do they need a little break? Should we take them out? It's a fine balancing act, and the medical department is certainly growing here, and it's because of the nature of how many games we're playing.
They come back in great shape, and we can see from the social media just how hard they've all been working individually. When you do have maybe 2 or 3 days off or a week off, how much is it playing on your mind that I can't eat that or I can't drink that, because I know when I go back that it's going to be super intense again?
Obviously, I don't think about that now. That's the reality to look at this one. You know, but when I used to play, I think it's part of your life. You need to live with it more. The players now, how obviously, especially Liverpool, the way they do. But I think the professional now, obviously, your time was different as well, the drinking and everything like that, no social media. No, I don't mean you. I mean in general, you know. Obviously, the social media wasn't there. The players, they take care of themselves a lot more, because if you don't do, you play against anybody right now that they run at you and they go at you and they beat you, you know. So they have to be prepared, and it's like you said, when you are on holidays, yeah, you have maybe your 1 or 2 times off, but then you are at it again, because you know when you come back you have competition as well in your own team for your position, so you are always on it. They don't get their head off completely, I believe.
They don't have it. to miss. They don't do it. It's not like, I'm trying to use an example. You know, they eat very, very healthy, so they just stay healthy. You know, the meals now. You know, football has moved on to the point where the meals are sent to the house now if they want it. You know, the people at the club, the cooks, the chefs, they send stuff home.
You didn't have that when you were playing?
They used to send beer.
Let's go round my mum's.
That was always done.
Used to make me omelette and chips. Or Mona's head had come off now. She's seen my diet. Yeah. But I mean, it has moved on, and you know, the wives now, you know, they do cookery classes. They get them in and do cookery classes with them, and the lads do them. The young lads, you know, they get educated in the diet and what they should eat.
The way they should.
Supplements. I mean, when I say they miss out on chocolate, it's supplemented with something sweet, which is a lot more healthy. So they don't miss the likes of chocolate and stuff. Don't get me wrong, you might eat a Mars bar every now and again, but they certainly wouldn't have 2.5 weeks off in pre-season and just go mad and raid the crisp cupboard and the chocolate cupboard. They wouldn't do that.
And I believe every time, even in the summer, when you are that time off, you break that night that you are a little bit with your wife or your friends or whatever, and you say, okay, I'm going to have this, then you regret it already. Say, because tomorrow I need to burn it. I remember even on the season, you were playing, obviously, in the Premier League, all the wingers are difficult. So during the week, you take care of yourself, and when the game is going to come, you know, and you maybe have 2 days that you eat well, but not maybe as good as you used to. Oh my God, this guy is quick this weekend. I need to, you know, he's always thinking. And these guys, like he say, even more now, they have the nutritionist that is with them all the time. Like he say, obviously the food you can, in my time as well, you could bring home the food as well. So they have, if you don't want to be prepared, it's because you don't want to. Now they give you every access possible to be as fit as you want to be.
Jose's played here before for Liverpool as well. He won a trophy here a couple of years ago. I said, did you come in 2015 as well? He said, no, I stay behind at Melwood with Mario Balotelli. That must have been a good couple of days, that.
Yeah, to be honest, obviously I would have rather to be here, but at the end, Balotelli was good fun, to be honest with you. Balotelli in Preseason, yeah. Obviously, we have few stories that I'm not going to tell, you know, in Preseason.
Tell me later.
Was he one of those players, though, Jose? We all saw him as, you know, playing for Italy, playing for the massive clubs that just looked unbelievable. Do you have those days in training where he did something you just thought, where's that come from?
The talent, listen, if not, he would not have played for the sides. Obviously, the problem they have, obviously Liverpool and Manchester City, all these clubs, what they signed him because they really believe that maybe it will be a time that he will change.
Yeah.
It never happens. You know? But every time they have that thought. Why? Because it was worth it to take the risk. Obviously, Luis Suarez left, I remember, and obviously they signed Balotelli, and they thought that obviously hopefully he come to Liverpool and he settled down, and with the qualities that he has, as you say, in training sometimes he was unstoppable. He was strong, quick, both legs, with both feet, you know, left and right. In the air he wasn't as good, but the rest, he was unbelievable, quick, strong, everything, but he didn't want to, that's all. He didn't want to, and that's why obviously didn't finish so well for him here and in many places. But as a teammate, I'm telling you, we were talking about it before, he was great. You know, to be honest with you, he was fantastic. I love him and everyone that speaks with him, but it's true that he has that thing on him that he likes it to always be the main guy, you know, even if it was for the bad reasons.
Strikers for you, innit?
Even if
The Mavericks are, you know, it's consistency you want from a footballer most of the time. You want level performances all the time. The Mavericks don't give you that. You know, they give you one game in 3 or 4 where they're unplayable and you think, wow, and then they get another 3 games and they're not so good. They're off the boil, they try flicks and tricks, they just do your head in the end, and then you might get another game out of them and stuff. And, you know, I won't name names, but, you know, maybe Stan Collymore was probably my equivalent. Maybe not as crackers as Mario, but he certainly, you know, between the ears is probably where it might have suffered for Stan, because he had everything, and he could have been. Listen, I know you might raise an eyebrow here, but Ronaldo was arguably one of the greatest players. Stan was physically as strong as him, could kick with both feet. I'm not putting him in Ronaldo's bracket, but he had the chance to go on and maybe be like Ronaldo, kind of make an impression, and you know, he had the platform to do it at Liverpool as well, but he just didn't go on and do it because he lacked consistency in his performances.
How many players do you see like that?
Yeah, there's lots, isn't there?
Many. That lot of talent, and at the end, you see players with a lot of talent, like for example, Jan Miller as well, but maybe not the talent that maybe you see in Balotelli or you see in someone like that, and it's been 21 pre-seasons in a row.
Sport does that,
you know what I mean? Why? Because what he was talking about, consistency. At the end, you can have all the qualities in the world, but then if you don't put the work out there, someone is going to come and run at you, you know, and that's what happened with Mario, that's what happened with him as well, you know, so at the end, it's what it is. You need to put the work in, 100%.
You're watching live training here at the Raja Mangala Stadium. We've got Jose Enrique with us and Jason McAteer. The voices that you hear over the top of pictures of what we're hoping is going to be, once again, a very successful season for these Liverpool players. What helped that season and what helped these hopes of success, of course, was a couple of weeks ago, Mo Salah on that sunbed, searing heat in Greece, and he signs the new contract. It was all of our fears put to bed. It was a great weekend, that, to celebrate, wasn't it? He's going to be here for the next couple of years at least.
I'm happy for a few reasons, to be honest. Obviously, from selfish reasons, from a fan's point of view, it's remarkable he stayed, isn't it? It's brilliant. His numbers are just phenomenal. He's a megastar, isn't he, in this game? And it's brilliant that he stayed. But also for him personally as well, because I'd hate to see his legacy be diminished. I didn't want him to move in case he spoiled that. Maybe the fans might have looked at him and thought, you know, because obviously the numbers that were being thrown about, you know, comes the way of greedy, and that might have spoiled his legacy. Also, as well, I was saying to Jose today, I think of him as a bit of a like a Lionel Messi, where he's in that Barcelona team where, you know, everything's sort of set up for him to do his stuff. Like Jordan Henderson and Trent protect him so much, but that's a purpose, so Mo can get on the ball and do what he's really, really good at. I was frightened if he went anywhere else, he mightn't have got that from another team, and he might have been, you know, maybe not as effective, not as good, and people would have looked at him as maybe being a bit of a flash in the pan. But he's decided to stay, and hopefully his numbers just keep ticking over, because on his day, we've used the word a few times, on his day he's unplayable. And yeah, he's a massive part of everything good about this football club, is Mo Salah. I'm made up he stayed.
Well rested as well, which I think is key, isn't it? That he's had a decent enough break, hasn't he, over the summer, and we will see a fresh Mo Salah coming back into the season now.
And he's always smiley, but even more smiley Mo Salah, I believe, you know, obviously, because at the end he's not nice and more than a player of his quality. Just trying to do, we were talking about it before, obviously getting out of the World Cup, losing the AFCON in the final, then contract situation. Sometimes people don't realize that these things can affect even for a world-class player like himself, you know, and obviously getting this sort of, I believe we're going to see numbers again this season from Mo. They say that maybe the best years to come from him still have to come. I don't think so. I hope he can keep the same ones, you know, the same numbers that he's doing until now, you know, they are unbelievable. You know, but he's a player that I think is amazing for the club, for himself. Obviously, he needed to stay, in my opinion. I think it would have been a mistake from him to leave, but at the same time from the club to make a stand as well that, listen, we can keep our best players as well. You know, not our best players have the chance to leave and then leave, you know. No, we actually can keep our best players as well, and that's a massive, massive stand from the club as well.
I think as well, if you look at where Ronaldo is now, where Messi is, Lewandowski's getting no younger. You could argue, you know, Mo, the age is creeping up on Mo as well, but he'll have the Ballon d'Or in the back of his mind, you know. And to win the Ballon d'Or, you've got to be at a club that's challenging for Champions League and Premier Leagues, and you know where he was possibly gonna go. Are they in that position right now? I'm not so sure. And plus, like I said before, if he went anywhere else, is he going to be as effective? Is he going to be, you know, that world superstar that he is here? He just might fade into insignificance over the next 3 years because of his age. He's moved football clubs, got to move his family, you know. But here, everything's set up for him to win the Ballon d'Or. And don't get me wrong, you know, footballers are selfish sometimes, and he'll have that at the back of his mind. It's a personal accolade, you know. If it means he contributes to the team because of his performances, great, which is what happens. But he'll have the Ballon d'Or on his mind.
You say his age, Jose, we spoke about it at the start of the show, the condition he's in, how much he commits his life to being in the shape that he's in now. You can probably knock a couple of years off that at least, can't you? In Oldham, he's probably about 26, 27.
Yeah, players is different. We were talking about nutrition, about taking care of yourself. They say, no, between him and James Milner, probably is the first ones to arrive and the last ones to leave. And these guys, if they're lucky with long-term injuries, at the end, that's a lucky thing that you have to have. He can play for many more years. I think he can even go farther these 3 years. That's the reality. If he's able to stay fit, and stay fit, I don't mean physically, because obviously you can see how physically he is. I mean in terms of he's lucky with big injuries. I really believe he can go even a lot farther than 3 years. Yeah.
Ninth on the all-time list. I'm not sure whether you're aware of that. He's 30 goals now, 3-0 behind Steven Gerrard. He'll have his eyes on that. He likes a record, Mo Salah. He'll soon to overtake. Will he do it next season?
Serial record breakers. This that's a catchy line. That I might take off. He's a record breaker. Yeah, of course he'll have his mind on that. Of course he will. Be tough. Yeah, be tough to get 30 goals, but there's no reason why he can't. I think it's going to slightly change. Obviously, the dynamics of that forward line are changing. You know, Nunez coming in. Got Jota fighting for that central position now as well. It's sad to see Sadio go, and it's, you know, my first opportunity to say thanks very much, Sadio. Like, you were amazing, like, you were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But Diaz will obviously slot in on that side now, and it's you know, we'd love Firmino, Salah and Mane to have gone forever, wouldn't we? But football just doesn't do that, and you've got to evolve. You've got to take the risk sometimes, and letting Sadio go, there's an element of risk in that. But Diaz now will slot in. He'll make that place, that left side, his own. You've got Nunez now, like I said, he'll fight for competition with Firmino and Jota, but I can see him, you know, getting double figures. Will Mo push this? There's no reason why not. We create a lot of chances. It's just sometimes you need the rub of the green, you know, early on. You know, we'll see.
And in terms of what Liverpool have to look forward to, I mean, so much, but what a couple of months. We talked about Mo there, but, you know, the manager's recommitted to a new contract. All of the big players, all the big hitters are committed to new contracts this time last season. They're in great shape, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like I say, it's a big statement from the club as well, that keeping, for me, the best manager, him and Pep. They are the two best managers in the world, in my opinion. Then it's for whatever you like most, obviously, but for me, he is the best. That's the reality, and not because, obviously, I love Liverpool, but that's the reality. It's amazing to keep this kind of the main people really on the club. You know, obviously Van Dijk has us until 2025, I think, or something like that as well. So the main people here in this team, you have them for longer, you know. And the main one that obviously all of us were a little bit like that was Klopp. And at the end, he's stayed longer as well. So it's a massive step. You know, then Darwin, I'm not sure if it's true that he has offered from other clubs. Probably he did. And at the end, he chose Liverpool. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure if United was involved. If it's true, if it's not, I don't know, and I don't care. You know, but the reality, he chose to come here as well because of the project of this football club, for what they're doing. They're keeping their best players. They want to keep growing. They want to keep winning titles. So at the moment, the club is seriously a moment to enjoy. Any player you ask, even Mbappe, obviously at the end he decided to stay at PSG, but they asked him about Liverpool, he said, I love Liverpool, the way they play. You know, every player really that you ask him to play for this football club, they will be happy to play for Liverpool at the moment.
To evolve at a top level, which is where this football club is, there's a criteria to do that. It's challenging for trophies, keeping world-class players, keeping a world-class manager, and having Champions League football, because that's what attracts the players. You don't have three of them. You know, where you're going to go. You know, Manchester United are going to struggle to attract top players to their football club, Champions League football. But here, you know, the manager signing is a massive statement of intent where the football club's going. Mo Salah is a massive statement of intent. You can attract whoever you want at this football club. Obviously, there's a criteria of player that the manager likes because he's got to fit in and do the job. But he can look into the transfer market. He gets the backing from the owners who've been magnificent again this window. And he can go to them and say, listen, I fancy him. He can be a big piece of the jigsaw. We've got to shape it up. The midfield's getting no younger. You know, they're going to be looking at a central midfielder in the next couple of windows to bring in. It's going to cost them, you know, 50, 60, 70 million. But they'll be able to go and get whoever they want because they are competing. Salah's here, the manager's here, and you could go through the team. I'm talking to world-class players. We can go Alisson, you can go Trent, you can go Robbo, you can go Jordan Henderson. You can go 7 or 8 of them players are arguably the best players in their position in the world.
Yeah.
So you've got to keep it rolling, and the manager's a big piece of that jigsaw.
We've had good fun so far. We're going to be here for about the next 40 minutes watching this Liverpool team train. A nice little breeze that's floating by us at the moment as well. There were a few spots of rain before that Jurgen Klopp was looking ruefully at. As you know, he doesn't like rain in this part of the world when they're trying to get their training underway. We've got Jason McAteer and Jose Enrique with us. Also on the trip this year, we've got Ian Rush, we've got Sami Hyypiä, and one player I haven't mentioned had 22 hours sleep on Saturday through to Sunday. Vladimir Smicer slept for 22 hours when he arrived in Thailand. Wow. That's like jet lag on a completely different level.
He's only a koala bear.
I never sleep that amount of hours.
22. It's like a week's sleep for you, though.
22
in one go.
No chance.
In one go. 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. the next day. Impressive.
22
I'll leave
hours.
you to mull that over as we watch Liverpool train here at the Raja Mangala Stadium, taking on Manchester United, of course, tomorrow. It's 2 o'clock kickoff your time in the UK. If you're not a subscriber to LFC TV, details online of how you do it. liverpoolfc.com/video is how you find out how you subscribe. Let's let the action do the talking for a little while. Yeah, confirmed.
Yeah, Sam, so I'll set a timer for 7 minutes, but again, if you want to just kind of jump on and say when you want to come back on, I know the mics are picking up the atmosphere as well, aren't they, so we're staying far away from each other.
Twice. Oh, man away. You got them lined up now.
Okay. Very rough to head. Sam's the gallery.
Mil, you drop. Alone. Aye, Mil. Keep. Ah!
We are live at the Raja Mangala Stadium where Liverpool will take on Manchester United in the first of their pre-season games. Comes your way live. Don't forget, if you are not a subscriber so far, to look online. All the details you need, T's and C's are on there, liverpoolfc.com/watch. How you can see all 5 of Liverpool's pre-season games, and it starts with the biggest one of them all against Manchester United, who trained here, as Roberto Firmino just goes through on goal against the crossbar. Jose Enrique and Jason McAteer have been here with us. What have you spotted whilst we've been off the telly? Anything interesting?
There's a right-back slot available for me if he's looking. Intensity, I mean, Jose said this is what he used to do, so he's probably the best to answer. For me, I'm looking at it, it's just high intensity. They're all at it, you know, he's looking for high intensity, they're doing it. It's quite tough, actually. I mean, it's warm, isn't it? It's really close and humid, so it is tough for them. But what is it that they're actually doing?
Well, it's very easy to see. Obviously, the white team is attacking with a goal. The green team is attacking without a goal. The white team, what they have to do is try to avoid that the green team pass the halfway of the pitch with the ball. Okay,
so to press.
So that's why he makes them play from the goal. You know, you will see as soon as they play the ball, he made the team go, and as soon as, because they obviously done a few times, and then when you do it, I think they change size normally. He's not doing it right now. I think he's gonna do it a few times, but it's what they do it actually. And the white team, when they get the ball, they try to score. So it's very, very simple. But like you say, it's about intensity. It's about, I don't want them to get out of there. As soon as the ball get wide to the fullback or the centre back, we just keep going. And it's about that. He's training it always, and it's funny because the same I seen today is exactly the same I used to do. So it's no change at all, and it's all about this. It's all about intensity.
Explain those key differences then, and we can see the manager now walking in between the sessions. So the session has been stopped, but you can see Pep is having a word with some players. The manager's coming in speaking to other players. What is the distinct difference there between almost their duties in this session to get those messages across?
Yeah, obviously, when they say something like that, obviously the player knows it's for their own benefit, but obviously something that they see that they are not liking it, and they have to press differently, because actually I've seen the last 2 and they actually go through the halfway line. So obviously what they're saying is explaining them how to actually press because at the end it's the same number of players against the same number of players. So why one player have to receive the ball on his own? So someone is not marking him. You know, so that's actually what probably is telling him and people how to position themselves, etc. for the long ball right now as well. So it's all about, like Jason said before, it's about positioning and about intensity to press. Look, as soon as they got the ball, the green team has to really, really go for it.
I think as well as, I mean, both singing off the same song sheet, you know, Pep and Jurgen. I know obviously one's the manager, one's the coach, but Jurgen can't actually see everything. You know, he's probably following the ball where Pep's probably watching where the ball isn't. Yeah. And I'm making sure that the distances are right, making sure pressing is all about unison and everyone doing it in together. You know, if you go yourself, you're left isolated. Teams can play around you, so you can see them shouting now. They all want to go together. They all want to press together. But you've got to know how to press. You can't just all run to the ball. You've got to cut off the second pass. You know, and if that makes it, then you've got to cut off the next pass, and it's all got to be done in unison.
First break in the session came when Curtis Jones and Nat Phillips just had a coming together by accident there. Darwin Nunez, who's just on the ground at the moment, I think just having a bit of strapping adjusted inside his boot on the other side of the pitch as well. He's a player that has captured everybody's imagination that's kind of watched the games that we featured in the Champions League, but just seems somebody that will give an unpredictability about Liverpool next season. What's impressed you most about him?
I think I was talking to Jason because obviously he was playing in Almeria before. He went to Benfica. They paid 25 million for him when he was playing second division in Spain. So it's a record signing fee ever in the second division in Spain. and he went there because they actually sold another striker. And I really I talked to him. I actually tried to get him as an agent then when he was in Almeria. You know, I talked to him, and because I really like him, and then he's just been improving his game. Obviously here, don't get me wrong, he's gonna have to change a lot because Benfica used to play more counter-attacking football, and that suit him a lot because he's so fast and strong. But I'm telling you, for what I've seen of him, and with the 22 years old, I really believe he's someone that is gonna people is really gonna love him. You know, I think he's gonna give us that proper number 9 role that we didn't have for years, because with Firmino, he's a number 9, but obviously he come more as a number 10, false 9. You know, he comes, get the ball, that he benefit a lot Man and Salah scoring goals, because they say they're winger, but not really, they were strikers, you know, playing inside. But this guy as well, Trent and Robertson, I'm sure they are, you know, really licking their lips, you know, saying, oh my God, we have a proper number 9 now to put the cross in for him, you know. So I'm really excited about him, and I think, I'm not sure if he will settle straight away. Hopefully he does, but I'm telling you that this guy is the future for Liverpool as a striker.
One thing you were seeing there before is one of the biggest curses of pre-season, blisters. You know, the players will walk around in sliders, as they're called now, used to be flip-flops all through the summer. Then you put football boots on again, and that was Lee Nobes just putting some Vaseline on his toes to make sure that there's no bubbles on there that shouldn't be.
Yeah, I was just watching him there. You know, you only need a little bit of grit in there, or you know, you're sweating a lot more as well. They're rubbing. You know, new boots. Probably wearing a pair of new boots in. We used to give them to our boot boy back in the day. I don't know whether that's allowed now. Yeah, I don't know if they have boot boys anymore. Do they have boot boys?
I don't think they do.
No, so we used to give them to him, didn't we? And they used to wear them and get the blisters. And they used to take one for the team, didn't they? The boot boys. But yeah, I mean, they're getting looked after there. But I agree with what Jose said about him there. You know, I think he's gone slightly away from that false number 9. He's definitely a centre forward. Plays off the shoulder. Listen, you know, we raised a few eyebrows with the transfer fee, didn't it? What it can amount to.
But 20 that you pay for players, I think now.
No, I know, but I mean, he's 22.
You pay 100 million for Grealish as well, and he came from Aston Villa. So.
Yeah, but there's always a premium, isn't it, on English players for some reason. But the thing with him is he scored 26 goals in the Portuguese league, and people say, oh well, it's the Portuguese league, but he did score 6 goals in the Champions League against quality opposition. Bayern Munich scored a couple, us home and away, and I was really impressed with him. I was really impressed with him at the home game. I thought he gave our defenders, he was a handful, he played on the shoulder, he liked to get him behind, he can go deep, he's strong, he'll have the ball into his feet, he can mix it up, but he's young, isn't he? He's 22?
Yeah, and Van Dijk as well, actually, the best in the back in the world. He actually said that when they're asking him, he said him and Haaland probably is the 2 strikers that they give us the most problems. You know, in while I was playing, you know, the 2 strikers that give them more problems, you know. So obviously it's for a reason. They see something, and I'm so when they ask Van Dijk about it, probably he said, listen, it's very tough, you know. And it is, and as a player, I believe he's going to do really well for us.
When you do that sometimes, come off the pitch and talk about how good an opposition's player has been.
Yeah.
Is it quite
I think
a
they
common
do.
thing?
I think United did with Cristiano as well, no? When they play against Sporting, when he was really young as well, and it's what it is, you know. It's when you play, I play against wingers sometimes that more players that they are known. Obviously, if you already know, or you go, oh my God, Messi today just killed me, or this or the other. But when it's players that like himself with 22 that maybe people don't know too much about him, you go, oh, this guy is good, eh? He's good. And obviously, he did it at Anfield, he did it in Portugal. So he's a good player, like I said, and he's still 22. That's the thing. The only thing is going to happen is Manchester City sign Haaland for a big fee. We sign, obviously, Nunez for a big fee. He's going to handle that pressure of that signing fee. Hopefully he does. If he does, I believe he's going to be unbelievable for us.
I mean, I do speak to Ray Hoffman quite regular, and you know, Ray has the lowdown on all the players. He works day in, day out with them, and he's very impressed with them. He's very impressed. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to him. I think he's got bags of ability. He's got the potential to, as I said before, double figures. He's going to get loads of opportunities. But then again, it's the pressure playing for Liverpool. He's got to handle that. He's got to handle it. He's got to hit the ground running. He's going to play against all the top teams. You know, he's got to keep himself fit. He's got to get himself in the team first. I know there's a position become available, but it's not his position. Firmino will want to push him all the way. Jota will certainly, you know, feel like he wants to play. more games this season. So he's going to have his work cut out. You'd expect him to start,
but he's actually going to play now. Let's see, because obviously he's been in that side, so we want to be able to see a little bit more of him. But definitely that intensity he have it. Obviously then is to adapt as well to Salah and to other winger as well, probably Luis Diaz or whatever. That's the one you have to play for. But look, the intensity and everything, I believe he's not going to have any problems to adapt to. Like I say, is Uruguayan players, they have something that not many players in the world have, and obviously comparing him to Luis Suarez, like many people did, is comparing him to one of the best, But definitely he has something that I really believe Liverpool fans, they're going to love him.
Darwin was keeping very close to Thiago over the first day or so of the tour as well. The Spanish speakers will be very important to them. That settling in process as well, Jose. You're moving to a new city. You're hoping that your wife and the kids will make new friends as well. There's all these parts of non-footballing things that aren't really part of the issue.
And more when you're young. I think when you're young, it's more difficult. Obviously, I can speak for myself. When I arrived to Newcastle, I was 21, and it was tough. But it's true that he changed this as well. He came here, speak Spanish, obviously. You have Thiago, you have Adrian, you have other Brazilian, Firmino, you have Fabinho, you have Alisson, they all speak Spanish. So you feel welcome straight away. You have people to support you straight away. Obviously, you change the city, you come to another country, another kind of football. But it's no excuse. In the club, you know how it is. They put you everything easy as possible. They put you in a house as soon as possible. They give you English telephone number as soon as you arrive as well. So it's what he's going to be able to adapt to as soon as possible. Is going to depend on him, really, because he's going to have every source, really, from the club to adapt as soon as possible.
I don't think there's a Liverpool player signed and gone straight into the team and hit the ground running. I think every player's had maybe a spell in the team and taken out the team.
No, Luis Diaz.
No, I mean for Jurgen.
Luis Diaz, no? Luis Diaz.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean he still shared the position with Sadio, didn't he, for quite a while?
Sadio then played number 9.
But what I'm saying is, he's come from Benfica. They play differently. He's got to learn what to do without the ball, how to press, when to start the press, when to go. All these decision makings. This comes in training. I mean, Jurgen's already stepped into his area there and started pointing out a few things to him. Then, he's got to adapt to that. Sometimes it doesn't come as natural as you think. Goal scoring does, and running off shoulders and getting in the right position. When we've got the ball, that'll feel more natural to him. But he's got to learn to play football without the ball, the Liverpool way. Firmino's the best at it, isn't he? He's the best at it. Starting the press, clever little runs, to close players down. He's got to learn all that. So he might not be in the team straight away.
We should also talk about the centre-back that signed a new contract. Again, we talk about all the good news around the fact that Jurgen Klopp signed a new contract, Mo Salah signed one. I was absolutely delighted to see Joe Gomez sign one. He said today, Jurgen Klopp, he's got the 4 best centre-backs in the world now, all competing for places. Were you pleased that he committed? Can you understand the decision of a player that didn't play that much last season to see that his long-term future now is with Liverpool?
For me, obviously, I know Joe since he was 18, because I actually played with him as well. I understand completely the club's decision to renew his contract. He's someone that he's amazing, in terms of the dressing room, never cause problem. If he doesn't play, he's actually one that is positive about it. That is very difficult to find this kind of players as well. So obviously from the club perspective, I understand. And his perspective is true. You can go somewhere else and play, yeah, but he can win his position here as well. I know it's difficult, but here he's going to be able to have the chance to fight for everything as well and to still compete in it. Then this year doesn't play either, and next year you maybe can think about it. He's still young, he's still 25, so he still have time. But I believe he's been very, very unlucky with injuries, because people forget very fast, and him and Van Dijk, when they were playing together, they were fantastic. They were fantastic together. Obviously, Matic this year, he was fantastic. Konate stepped in, so it was difficult for him. But definitely it's a player that I'm so happy he commit his future. And I agree that probably, I'm not sure if the 4 best, but definitely, obviously, we have the best one. And then the other 3, they are world-class centre-backs, in my opinion.
Big fan of that partnership, Gomez, Van Dijk.
Remember a year ago when they were coming back from injury together?
Together. Yeah, he's unbelievable.
I really believe Jurgen nailed it down. I think there was a lack of consistency with the centre-halves, and it was a problem. And I think he needed to sort of pin his badge on 2 centre-halves, go with consistency and give him a run in the team. And I really think it was Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez. And sadly for Joe, he got another injury, didn't he? A big injury, and he had to fight his way back. Joel Matip stepped up to the plate because maybe Konate come in and give Joel a bit of competition. But now Konate's looking at maybe cementing that place alongside Virgil now and making it his own. But Joe is obviously believes in his own ability. The manager believes he's got a future at the football club, and let's hope he gets back to that standard that he showed before he picked up the injuries. And I think if he stays away from injury, I think that partnership could blossom again.
Is this something you look at from a selfish point of view as a player sometimes and say, well, you know, Virgil, as big a machine as he is, he's 31. You know, Joel's 31 as well. This could be the long-term future. Is that Big Ibu and Joe Gomez are the centre-backs in that next generation?
Yeah, that's the reality. You think about that as a club, obviously, because it's very difficult to play for this club and keep in place that they've already been since the start, even since the start with Klopp. So obviously, it's very, very important. And I already see a few things here that you go, wow, you know, you're happy to see him back as well, you know. And like I said, he's a kind of player that I don't think where he's going to go that he's going to be more happy than this. And maybe people should think sometimes, because you think you go somewhere else and you're actually going to find the happiness. And sometimes, okay, get in your position here. You are fit now. Give it a go. Maybe if it doesn't work, then you can go somewhere else, like I said before. But why don't give it a go when you are happy? I know he's very, very happy at Liverpool. His wife as well is very happy. He has kids as well. So why changing, you know?
It's a great point that you've made, because we sometimes think the evolution of a team is a manager going out and buying a player. I mean, obviously he has. You know, Diaz, now the front line is so different than what we seen 3 or 4 seasons ago, isn't it? But the evolution of the team might just be here anyway. I mean, you're right. It might be the evolution of the team is Joe Gomez in 2 or 3 years' time. Joe Gomez and Canate. That might be the evolution of this team. They're already here. That's what the long-term plan might be. So, you know, why sell him and let him go out, and then you're going to have to buy someone to replace him. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great point you've made.
Sometimes players leave too soon as well, and Jose, you make that point that the grass isn't always greener as a footballer. Happiness is the be-all and end-all when you're happy in an environment, and he spoke about it when he signed the new contract. It's the happiest he's ever been as a Liverpool player, going around parading trophies. Doesn't mean by going to another club where you're going to play every week that you're actually going to like it there. Yeah,
well, I'm not going to mention them, but we know players that they already left and no longer go, and they didn't found their place, you know. Sometimes you understand. Listen, we've been our place ourselves, you know, and players sometimes go, they pay you more somewhere else. Fair enough, you know, that's the reality. I don't know, for example, the reason of money probably is money as well, or I don't know really, because I don't know if he's going to be as happy as he was here. Obviously, people here I can understand maybe, obviously, because Salah is the main guy and he's always been a little bit of the shadow for what it looks like, but the reality is, you know, this, like you say, it's not always getting outside, but to be honest, when you're young, you don't feel like that. You're not playing, you're not happy, you say, sometimes, depends the player's mentality, they say, oh, I'm not playing here, I'm going to go somewhere else. I don't think it's happening at Liverpool. It happens with managed decision, and fair enough, but other players here, they are not playing and they don't want to go because they know when they have the chance, they can take it and they're going to win stuff in this club, you know. So, like you say, you don't want to find your happiness somewhere else, and sometimes but you know the problem as well, sometimes you don't appreciate something until you lose it. That's the problem, you know. And look, for example, I'm actually going to mention someone that is a friend of mine, Coutinho, when he left. I understand in that moment the club wasn't in the situation that is right now. You know, the club obviously wasn't winning trophies, etc., etc. But it's true that he's gone to Barcelona and look, it's not going very, very well for him on here. Would you rather be a legend in this club forever, you know, or go somewhere else and be one more? You know what I mean? You have to realize that as well. And Mo Salah, for example, if he's staying here now, he will always be a legend, but now he can be one of the biggest legends of the club, you know, and having that status is nothing better than that.
We've spoken about so many of the young, the future parts of Liverpool, you know, the manager, Mo Salah, Joe Gomez signing new contracts as well. One thing that won't have escaped your attention but maybe isn't talked about enough is a 36-year-old who wins all of the running in pre-season. Probably the thing that most of the young players dread if they give the ball away is a 36-year-old James Milner. Signed a new contract, obviously, as a player, Jason, but is this very much with a look at the future as to maybe him being part of the coaching setup and helping that next generation?
I think it was vitally important to get him nailed down. I think he's a massive part inside the dressing room of the philosophy of the football club, how to conduct yourself. But a manager, Jurgen has a great relationship with his players. His man managing skills are second to none. And management now in the modern day is very different. You know, you can't throw teacups now. You can't give out individually criticism because the agents step in, the players don't like it. You can lose a player. You know, they can want to move. You know, it's got to be constructive criticism, and it's got to be done collectively as well. Where you're looking for individual criticism to be given out is where you look at your captain and the boys inside the dressing room. And Jurgen knows he can walk out of a dressing room and not give an individual criticism, but James Milner and Jordan Henderson are going to do it for him, and that's vitally important. You know, the young kids coming in, maybe with a bit of a strut, you know, maybe a little too ahead of themselves, a little bit too big for the boots. Sometimes it's difficult for Jurgen to pull them to one side, and he might have a word with them in a nice way, but sometimes you need to hear cold, hard facts. You need to hear it as it is. And the likes of Jordan, I know he's give out to some of the younger players and just put them wise and showed them, you know, how to conduct themselves properly, and they've taken advice and they've taken it on, and they're still here. But Jurgen sometimes can't do that, and I think it's important to have them players in the dressing room. He's kind of like part of the staff anyway, James Milner. I think it was.
Not many people have that at their training.
Yeah. I think with James Milner, it's convincing him that he's not going to play a lot of the games, but he's a vital part of what this football club is about and the success. And you had to sell that to him, and he's done a marvellous job because he signed, hasn't he? So I'd love to see him progress onto the staff. I think it's a natural process.
Yeah. And it's a lot about him as well. Why? Because he could have gone somewhere else and get 2 or 3 years probably. You can go to MLS, maybe, you know, obviously Dubai or somewhere like that, you know, to get money. And he decided to stay here knowing that he's not going to be a starting. As obviously for now, we'll see, because, you know, mainly always push. Yeah. You know, obviously we sign a new right back as well. He's a player that can play in that position as well. Obviously the pace that he has is not the same pace that he used to have, but he's a player that wherever he plays, you know, he's going to perform. He play left back, he play right back, he play whatever, even as a goalkeeper if you want to as well. So he's a player that I was really pleased that, like Jason said, that he signed a new contract, because sometimes it's things that we don't see. And like he say, Hendo, Millie, Van Dijk, you know, these kind of players inside the dressing room, people don't see that daily basis stuff that these people go to the youngers and, hey, come on, you know, like he said, that Klopp will go and say something, but not in the way maybe you as a teammate can say, because it's like he said before, in the past, the managers used to go to the press and kill anybody. You know, this player is like that, and it didn't matter. Now it does matter. Now come the agent and go the club and this, and so you have to be really careful. Clubs know how to do it very well, and then you need leaders like that on the pitch. And if he's gonna stay as a something on Liverpool, maybe he is. Probably he is. You know.
And by the way, we talked at length about the evolution of the football club and the way things happen. Jurgen's not going to go forever, you know, as much as we'd love him to. Yeah. So who's to say that Pep doesn't step in, then Millie doesn't step in? It's like the old boot room again, isn't it? You know, Millie's may have had 2 or 3 seasons coaching by then, you know, and he's evolved into a coach, and he becomes Pep's number 2, and Pep steps up to the mark because it's just a natural progression. Who knows? It's a great pipe dream to have, isn't it? It just keeps the club ticking over. It does. So who's to say that won't happen?
James Milner, who's now associated with Liverpool for the longest of all of the clubs that he's played for. We often think of him as, you know, Man City, Leeds United. This is the longest he's ever spent at a football club, and that time is likely to extend much further. Quick word on the midfield before we're out on this as well, because again we've spoken about evolution, haven't we? Lots of youngsters that are looking for really big seasons now in that midfield. Harvey Elliott, he mentioned today, you know, probably Liverpool's best player for the first 4 games, gets that awful injury. Everybody wants a big season from Curtis Jones. We want to see what Fabio Carvalho's made of. It's quite exciting, isn't it?
It's incredible, because we were talking before as well, because obviously before we used to have the midfields of like Gini, like Hendo, like this kind of midfields. Obviously we have progressed in terms of with the number 8 is another kind of midfield that we have now, more quality and more this kind of attacking midfield. And obviously, like you mentioned, with Carvalho, Elliott, obviously Curtis, I think Curtis is a key season for him. I think he stepped in when it matters, when it was at the end of the season, of last season, you know, and this year is a massive for him. Harvey obviously is still a little bit younger, so still have a chance, but like you say, Elliott, when he started last season, before he got injured, probably he was our best player. That's the reality. So it's really good to see that the club is thinking in the now, but in the future as well, because these players, they just want to get better and better. And I really believe, I'm not sure about Carvalho because I didn't see too much of him. I cannot talk too much. But Elliot and Curti, if they have their head down and they want to keep learning and everything, definitely they have the talent and the ability to play for Liverpool.
You're listening, Jason. You're mesmerised by the training session.
I was just watching them trying to get out there. It was brilliant, actually. They're all so comfortable on the ball, and they'll have it in a phone box, any of them.
Yeah.
You don't see that much.
Yeah, Darwin Nunez had a slight problem, I think, with his boots, as Jason had spotted before, so they're just trying to strap his feet up at the moment, make sure that he's okay, and the last thing you need in the first week of pre-season is a couple of blisters on your toes, isn't it?
Well, the worst they get, that means that you're going to miss 3 or 4 days, and that's vitally important. You don't do that, so maybe just getting him pulled out of a session here saves him that. So, I mean, blisters hurt, don't they?
Yeah, they do hurt. It looks like the most silly thing in the world, but they're very annoying. And obviously more when you keep wearing boots. The pitch, if it's really like it looks here, if it's really wet as well, you probably wear studs as well instead of normal boots as well. So obviously it gets, to be honest, footballers have ugly feet anyway,
Mine are quite nice, actually.
Now probably, that they give a rest, but when you play, it's true that at the end your feet, my wife told me that, you used to have blisters, everything, the hard skin, everything. Exactly, black toenails. Exactly, it's what it is, but obviously blister is one of the things that normally just happen in pre-season. During the season you are used to, but in pre-season it's really hard and it happens, and they're very, very annoying. And like he said, if you don't stop maybe now, that is just starting, maybe they get worse and he has to stop for 2-3 days. So maybe it's better that just stop him. I'm not sure if he's going to stop 100%, but if he does, I think maybe it's better, for him. And maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure if he will be ready, but he will be ready for the next.
Sometimes the medical staff have to make that choice because he'll want to come back on. He'll be like, well, I'm feeling all right, and then the blister goes from that big to this big, and then he misses. So sometimes the medical team just say, listen, just step out.
But like he said, it's the medical team who will stop him because the player will want to continue. 100% he will want to continue, but sometimes it's good to stop, in the right moment.
The session is so fast. I'm not sure whether you can kind of tell that at home, but when you stood this close to the pitch, if the ball hits you, that's going to really hurt. That's how quick these sessions are. Liverpool just going to the final stages of it now inside the stadium. We've been in open training sessions before where the crowd have been that loud that the manager's actually told him to be quiet so he can get his communication over to the players. But they think about 10,000-15,000 inside here have been very respectful so far. And we're looking forward to a big crowd here tomorrow. Manchester United play a big part in it as well. How much are you looking forward to the actual contest? Because it's game number 1, but Liverpool versus Manchester United, even if it's under 6s, would be a competitive game.
Legends games, under 6s, Premier League, friendlies, they all carry the same gravitas, don't they? It's Liverpool versus Manchester United, and you can't get away from the fact. And I think there's a bit more to it as well with a new manager for Manchester United. They've got problems in-house again. Ronaldo hasn't travelled, has he? So they're sort of making headlines for all the wrong reasons still. He'll want to sort of put a marker down against Liverpool with his team. He'll want to get his philosophy across. It's a good test for him. There'll be lots of changes. Both teams will make lots and lots of changes. I think Liverpool have brought 36, haven't they? So 37. I think you can see probably a good majority of them getting minutes. I think it'll be the same for them. It's hot. It's going to be humid. First game of pre-season. So it'll be feisty. I think there'll be goals as well.
I want to talk to you about pre-season and how it's changed from a social point of view. I've been coming on these trips now for nearly 10 years. I tell you, the big part of pre-season after the session is finished is obviously what you do in your downtime. Now, in the old days, you might have been climbing out of windows, sneaking out into town. That doesn't happen anymore, mostly because most of the players don't drink anyway. Now it's Love Island. They will sit in a room together, big screen on, even Millie. All of the older players love Love Island.
I've known I was there.
I can't get into it myself. No. I know someone who is watching it quite closely.
I'd have had my money on you.
No. I get frightened of getting kind of sucked into it, where you get addicted to it, and then you're missing things because you've got to get home for Love Island or you're recording it, aren't you? And you're like, what's happened? I try not to get into that.
Not a fan.
Is it any good?
Pointless asking me.
You're not a Love Island fan. I like celebs to get me out of it.
It's true. Some players they love it. It's true, and they watch well. Some players, a lot of people love it. In my case, and obviously in your case, probably looks like you don't. But I understand in pre-season it's true that you get together to watch stuff. I'm not sure if it will be Love Island, will be whatever it will be, but definitely they get together to watch something. I'm not sure they will bring too many of them the PlayStation to play in the preseason.
Do they still do that? Do they still take
I'm not sure.
They carry the PlayStations now in what looks like hand luggage. You know, the hard cases
they're portable. They are portable now. Yeah, you can take them away. Yeah,
personalised ones.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, while they're here, I'm sure they will not be playing too much. You're right to sleep. That's the reality.
Diogo's at do they call them e-gamers? Do they? Is that what they're called?
eSports. Yeah, he's actually, he made the numbers in the Ultimate Team that is from FIFA. He actually made numbers of a professional player. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes he does. So imagine how many hours he plays. You know.
Well, they got it, haven't they?
David James was a gamer, though, wasn't he, in your day? He used to play a lot of video games.
Yeah, they tried to analyse him, didn't they? Like why he was so crackers.
I used to play a lot, video games. Yeah, I love. I used to play FIFA a lot. I actually won a tournament in Manchester when they did in Manchester FIFA 13. I think it was, or 14. They did like a Premier League tournament with players, and I won it. You know, I won it. Yeah, I have a cup at home. I'm not sure if it was the 13 or the 14, so I was a little bit of a freak then. But then with the years, I still play sometimes, but I'm not really. You getting older, and it's not something that you have. I understand the players, and obviously playing FIFA sometimes, Call of Duty now. It's many games out there that they play. But I'm sure in Preseason, you don't spend too much time really on that. You want to rest and chill.
Yeah, well, what the young players say is all we do is sleep. I mean, you'd expect the young players would be on these games, but because this is such a culture shock, isn't it? Whether they're playing under 18, under 21 football to this, it can be that they just want to sleep in between. Sometimes they're setting their alarm for 10 minutes sleep.
It wouldn't surprise me going back to the PlayStation. It wouldn't surprise me if the manager, because sleep is massively important, if the manager just says, listen, it's lights out at 11. You're not on your PlayStation after 11 o'clock. I think that will be said. So.
We're going to take a break from the talking. What you are watching is Liverpool in this live training session at the Raja Mangala Stadium. They'll play Manchester United here tomorrow night, similar time to where you are now. In fact, we'll build up from 1 o'clock with Jose and with Jason McAteer as well, and then kick-off is at 2 o'clock UK time. If you're not a subscriber to LFC TV, details on there as to how you can be. LiverpoolFC.com/video for you to watch all 5 of Liverpool's pre-season games, the first of them Manchester United. Let's enjoy a little bit more of this live training session here as Virgil van Dijk tries to hit the bar just underneath it. We'll be back with Jose and Jason McAteer in a couple of minutes.
Do you hit Man United or not? Do you hit Man United?